Hi everyone, and welcome back to Nick's Diecast. For today's video, I'll be showing you and reviewing this 1/18 scale Chrysler Pronto Cruiser concept made by Maisto. So the Chrysler Pronto was a concept vehicle that came out in 1998 at the Geneva Motor Show that year, and it kind of served as a preview to what the Chrysler PT Cruiser would become. Excuse me, when that went into production in 2001. Now, of course, obviously the PT Cruiser became a five-door kind of hatchback without this canvas top, and it didn't really, in my opinion, I don't think it really looked as cool as the Pronto concept. So in terms of models of the Pronto concept, Maisto is the only manufacturer of this model in 1/18 scale. I think a kind of underappreciated aspect of budget model car companies is that they made a lot of models of concept cars in like the 1990s. Maisto did a lot of concept models in their own lineup, such as the Pronto, the Dodge Copperhead concept. They also did the Ford GT90 concept. Many concept vehicles that higher-end model companies would never end up making their own versions of. So you can find this. This has actually been discontinued for quite some time now, but there's currently a listing on Amazon for it for whatever reason. So I got mine here for $20 plus I think $7 or $8 in shipping. So I'd say for that price of a discontinued car, it's a really good deal. I have an unboxing video of it on my channel if you want to take a look at that too. So we'll go ahead and get into the details here. We'll start up here with the front of the model. Maisto did a really good job, I think, with the overall shape of the car too. Kind of like that chopped, like hot rod looking coupe. But the front end here, we'll take a look at the headlights first. Maisto, I'd say, did a pretty good job with these headlights. You can, of course, see the two pegs there, but they're kind of well hidden, I would say, especially from like a far distance. Lenses are very loose, as you can see there. I might actually take this out and glue it back in. But this model was like 20 or so years old, so some parts might not be, fully, like secure due to its age. The center grille, on the other hand, is very well done. It's kind of a combination of perforated and not perforated. This whole front end is metal, aside from the lights, which is really good. A lot of times you'll see a separate plastic piece for the grille, but Maisto actually etched the grille into the metal, which I think looks great. With that, you don't have the separate plastic piece that might pop out or has big panel gaps or anything. It looks really well done. And this Chrysler badge in the center here actually kind of pops out a little bit. It's fully painted on as well, and it's on a sticker. They did a good job with it. You can actually read the Chrysler inscription in the center there, which looks great. If they had painted like the insides of the slats black, that would kind of add even more, I think, to the effect of them being like open slats. But from a distance, they kind of look black anyway, due to the shadows on them. Lower grills down here are solid, but they do have a texture to them, kind of like a textured mesh sort of stuff. And these fog lights are kind of strange. They're just kind of like these chrome bead-looking things. The real Pronto Cruiser concept had these types of fog lights, but I think if they'd done them as clear pieces, it would have looked a little bit better, but that's not too big of a deal there. Paint quality, I would say, is very good. Maisto nailed like the yellowish gold color that the actual concept came in. I think it looks great. I know some people aren't really a fan of this color or of this car itself for that matter, but I think the kind of yellowish gold, I think, looks great. There is some very slight paint fading in some areas. Like you can see there's kind of like some darkening and stuff there, but from a distance, you really can't tell at all. And in direct light, it has like a metallic sparkle to it, so it looks like the real car's paint, which looks great. Wheel detailing, I'd say, is fairly well done. Maisto did a good job with like replicating the wheels. They do have that red kind of center cap on the concept wheels. And Maisto actually did make these Goodyear tires. Back in the 90s and early 2000s, Maisto actually used to include branded tires on their models. And these are the exact same tires that were on the concept. They even had like the inflation instructions on them and everything. It's just great. I'd love to see that on the older versions of these Maisto models. There are disc brakes, and they spin with the wheel too, but they look a bit cheap because they're just like all chrome. There are no brake calipers, but at least the disc does spin with the wheel, I should say. So that's a nice touch. Here's some side reflectors on here. I'm not too sure if they're supposed to be lights or reflectors, but they're just painted on. Not a big deal because they're really tiny pieces on the real car. And the side vents look pretty good too. They look like actual metal mesh, but they're just actually stickers. And the sticker is embedded, so it's not going to peel off or anything. It's not really like exposed on the outside too much. Little tiny Chrysler badge down here on these really cool looking fenders. You do, of course, get full steering and somewhat suspension, not too much suspension. It's an older model, so you're not going to get too much. Mirrors look great as well. They're nice and sturdy. I like the kind of like 1930s hot rod look to them. They have like the little rivets on the sides and everything. They did a good job with that. The roof feels like fabric because the actual concept roof was fabric. I haven't seen any photos of the concept with the roof open. There aren't actually too many photos of this concept to begin with, and there's only one video of the car actually driving, which is kind of, you know, crazy, I think. But, you know, it's kind of cool to see that. Back here, detailing continues to be very well done with these taillights and these lower lights down here. And yeah, the concept actually did have one red light and one clear light. I'm not really sure why they decided to do that, but at least it's accurate. I thought maybe I had like a factory defect when I first got the model, but then I saw pictures of the real Pronto, and it had the two different colored lights. Not really sure why they did this. Same thing with the exhaust down here. It has one exhaust like tip and not one on this side, which is another detail that the concept had. Again, I'm not really too sure why. It kind of looks strange, but Maisto did it accurately. Nice Pronto Cruiser badging back here. It's painted on in silver. Kind of hard to see from this angle. There's a Chrysler badge back here. Maisto printed that on very nicely. It doesn't pop out or anything, but it is printed on there. Opening features, you don't get an engine, unfortunately, or an opening hood. I don't know if pictures of the actual concept engine were ever shown. The concept did have an engine. It had a similar engine to the Dodge Neon, I believe. But Maisto didn't have the hood opening on this model. And I haven't seen any pictures of the engine of the Pronto anywhere. So maybe that's why. I'm not really sure. Kind of disappointing, but, you know, for the price I got this at, it's not that big of a deal. The other details, I think, can make up for that. There is an opening hatch. We'll get that open back here. Nice detailing in the trunk back here. Kind of has a liner in it, and it is two-tone as well. They even put a liner underneath this hatchback lid here, which looks great. Kind of a texture in there, not really. I don't know if it would be carpeting or just kind of like hard plastic on the real concept, but Maisto did a good job with replicating that. They also did a good job with this hatch door too, with these kind of bent corners here. We'll close that up. Very wide opening doors on this model. Maisto did a really nice job with this, with the interior detail here. We'll take a look at the door panels first. These look great. They have like a kind of like leather pattern on them, and these are actually like real door pockets, which is kind of cool to see. I like how they included the color-coded yellow panels and on the dashboard too to kind of match the exterior of the car. They did a great job with that. Nice detailing with the door handles. They're painted in separate silver. You can kind of see the door panel better on this side. And there's texture where the speakers are down here for the audio. They did a very good job with that. These open on dog-leg hinges, not your spring-loaded hinges. If it were spring-loaded, the door would probably open up at like this angle. Maisto doesn't really have wide opening doors on their newer cars because of the spring-loaded hinges, unfortunately. The seats are very well done. They have like a fabric pattern to them, and they feel like the real seats too. And they even kind of fold and bend a little bit. They did a great job with that, and they're also the proper size and shape too. They even included seat belts as well. They don't usually do that on their older models, but on this one they did. So that's a nice touch. Detailing on the center stack looks great as well. All the buttons are labeled. Kind of hard to see because they're all silver, but you can see there's like little black hash marks, like where like the climate control adjustments are and everything. So I think they did a great job with that. I don't know if that blue's supposed to be a screen or not, because no pictures of the concept actually show it turned on, but it looks like a screen. And they also did a nice job with these vents on the dashboard here, which are on the real car. They look a bit cheap because they're just all silver. If they had painted the insides of the vents black, that would be more convincing, but what are you going to do? It's a budget car. We'll take a look at this side next. They did a good job with these pedals. They look like the real pedals. They look like they're made of like metal, even though they're just plastics. They did a great job with that. Steering wheel shape is also nicely done as well. Maybe like a hair too big for the model, but it still looks good. There's your functioning steering too. And the gauge cluster sticker is coming off. It looks like I might go in there with tweezers and like a glue stick and glue it back on, but I think it'll be okay as long as I don't touch it or anything. Back seat, they also did a good job with that. There's a very small Chrysler badge that you probably won't even notice until you open up the inside of the car, which looks great. And it looks like it's a 4-seater car. And they did a nice job with the texture on the back seat too. And overall, good attention to a detail, I would definitely say. We'll close that up now. On the undercarriage, not really too much. There's some exhaust piping going all the way through, and there's some detail back here, but not too much to see otherwise. So I think this is a really cool model overall. If you can pick one up, I would say go ahead and do it. eBay has many listings for it currently between like, 20 and 40 bucks. Just watch for, shipping prices and all that. And Amazon still has, I think, that listing for the $20 version. It might be gone now, but it doesn't hurt to go and check for that. But overall, if you collect, like if you're a fan of the PT Cruiser, I think this is like an essential car to have because this is what the PT Cruiser would become. Or this is the car that kind of set off the design for the PT Cruiser, I should say. But yeah, overall, it's a really cool model, and I highly recommend getting it. As always, be sure to comment down below and give the video a like and subscribe to my channel. And as always, be sure to follow my social media as well. Nick's Diecast page on Instagram. Thanks for watching.